You've seen the commercial for Takefuji, the consumer credit company, right? It used to feature a group of women dancing around in leotards, but now it features women dancing to music in black hot pants. As it turns out, those women all took out loans with Takefuji, but were unable to pay them back. And so, they were forced to participate in the commercial to pay back their debts. And the reason this particular type of commercial was made was to be a message to those watching. Pay back your debts, or we'll force you to dance in an embarrassing costume for all to see. If you don't want to end up like those women as well, then you should carve these words into your heart. Think carefully about what you spend. Hello, and welcome to Toshiden, exploring Japanese urban legends. I'm your host, Tara A. Devlin, and on this show we'll be looking at different urban legends from Japan, how they came about, and, when possible, the truth behind them. If you want even more urban legends, make sure you pick up Toshiden Volume 3 for a whole bunch you'll only find in the books. And if you haven't checked it out yet, we also have our own store, with shirts, mugs, stickers, hats, and much more. You can find that at kowabana.store. That's kowabana.store. This week we're looking at a particular urban legend from the Japanese entertainment industry. This one has been around for a while, so let's take a look. Takefuji was a consumer credit/financing company established in 1966 by Take Yasuo. It was initially viewed as somewhat shady and struggled to get away from its loan shark image. And so, the company tried to reinvent itself over the years through the usage of celebrities in commercials, sponsoring marathons, and even starting their own professional volleyball team. In the 1990s, it also became famous for its commercials using a group of young women dancing in skimpy clothing that seemed to have little to do with lending money, and a whole lot about strange voyeurism. And it didn't take long for an urban legend to be born. According to this legend, the women involved in the commercials were all customers of Takefuji. They had taken out loans, but were unable to pay them back. As such, this company that had long held a shady loan shark image forced these women to dance in skimpy clothes in advertisements for the company to pay off their debts. And the message was clear. The company wanted you to know that unless you also paid back the money you owed, you might be up next, forced to dance for the whole country to see in little clothing. This was punctuated by the company's motto, a line displayed at the end of all of their commercials. Goryou wa keikaku teki ni. Roughly translated, this is a warning to be careful with the money you spend, to make sure you do so responsibly and according to plan, so that you don't end up in a debt you can't pay back. It should serve as a smart warning to anyone planning to finance money, but when combined with the rumours of women being forced to dance against their will to pay back the money they couldn't, that line became a whole lot more sinister. But were women really being forced to dance for Takefuji to pay back their debts? Were these commercials, of which there were several over the years, really a warning to current and potential customers to pay back their loans, or they would be next? It seems counterintuitive, especially for a company trying to reinvent their image from that of a shady loan shark to specifically making a commercial warning people that they might also be forced to do embarrassing things in front of the country if they can't pay up. But let's take a closer look. Although it wasn't public knowledge at the time, the three women in the first Takefuji commercial that aired in 1990, the women who danced in leotards to the song Synchronized Love, were the original members of what would come to be known as the Takefuji Dancers. They were, of course, a professional dance team. This ad was so successful that they were chosen again in 1991 to participate in Takefuji's corporate image commercials, and roughly 300 people auditioned to join the new team. 14 men and women, yes, men too, were selected and again danced in leotards that company president and founder Takei Yasuo himself bought. Each dancer was paid 300,000 yen at the time of filming, and then compensated again every 6 months. It doesn't sound like anyone was being forced to dance in skimpy clothes to pay off their debts, does it? In fact, people were auditioning so they could appear. More and more people auditioned for the team over the years as new commercials were made and a variety of flashy and skimpy outfits were used. These commercials always attracted great attention because of their outfits, so the company had no reason to stop using them or trying to one-up their previous outings. This continued all the way up to 2003, when President Takei Yasuo was arrested for wiretapping a journalist's house and the company was barred from advertising, while simultaneously destroying all of the hard work they had put into appearing less shady. Ads continued once again in 2005 with an entirely new team and choreography, but it all went downhill in 2010 when Takefuji filed for bankruptcy, causing the company managing the Takefuji dancers to go bankrupt as well. The team was officially disbanded. These commercials became a sensation when they aired because of their skimpy outfits, brazen camera work that didn't shy away from highlighting the dancers' bodies, and the seemingly random nature of it all. What did a group of women, and occasionally men, dancing in leotards and hot pants have to do with financing? Nothing, ultimately, but it got people's attention, and that was what Takefuji wanted. It wasn't enough to save them in the end, and the company went bankrupt anyway. Along with still dealing in shady business on the side, it seemed. But when it came to the women appearing in their commercials, the urban legend was just that, a legend. Everyone involved was a professional dancer who was paid handsomely, with further compensation provided down the line, and hundreds of people auditioned to be a part of the team over the years. At this point, you might be wondering, well, where did the rumors come from if everyone involved was a professional dancer? It's highly likely the culprits were manzai duo Harigane Rock, active from 1995 to 2014. When asked about this urban legend, they claimed to be unaware of how far it had spread, but did admit to using it as material for a joke once. And only once. Because this type of joke, making fun of commercials, was unsuitable for commercial TV, they only ever performed it once on national broadcast at NHK, and it's believed that the joke spread from there. The general public then repeated it so much that it became an urban legend. This certainly makes a lot more sense than women being forced to dance in leotards to pay back money to a finance company trying actively to get rid of their shady loan shark image. But still, as Takefuji itself said, think carefully about what you spend. It's a good motto to live by regardless, even if they themselves were unable to do it. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. You can help support and get early access to both this show and Kawabana over at our Patreon at patreon.com/Tara-A-Devlin. And if you want even more urban legends, Toshiden Volume 3 is available on Amazon right now, so don't miss out. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time for even more Toshiden, exploring Japanese urban legends. Want even more scary stories? Head over to kawabana.net for new translations every week. You can also join our Patreon for exclusive stories you won't find anywhere else. Head over to kawabana.net now.